You know, am I sick? Is my bad knee bugging me? You know, how's my back feeling? You know, take stock of that. Because if you have something like back problems, that's pretty common with firemen. If you have something like back problems, that might kind of inhibit your ability to defend yourself in a physical confrontation, right? How about your loadout? Who here just wears a gun? Who carries pepper spray? Who carries a knife? Who carries, well, you guys can't carry much here in Cook County, especially in the city, but collapsible batons. You know, my point is that you should have alternative defense methods. That's the other reason for that situational awareness and trying to buy yourself time, right? Because if you notice a threat early enough, maybe earlier in that span of time when you're under a threat, maybe an alternative force multiplier is called for, like a pepper spray, versus if you let it go too far or if the person gets too close. Now the only option is your firearm, and that can put you in a little bit of legal trouble, right? So keep that in mind too. And there's my profile was here. So realize it can't be happening. We already talked about it. Profile, like I said, what I mean by that is look for something that just doesn't belong. All right, you're not disparaging anybody. It's just look for something that's out of place. If something's out of place, again, we talked about intuition, and your spider sense goes off and says this ain't right. That ain't right. Listen to that. Remove yourself from the situation. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. Trust your instincts and constantly survey your environment. Who plays a carry game? Who looks around and to see where people are carrying? To see if you can spot people carrying. Yeah, all right, awesome. Awesome. Am I carrying?
You got a hard time saying that.
You got
I think in the right.
well concealed.
It
It is very well concealed.
Why is your knife on the same side you carry?
This is right here.
Because this is a martial arts crutch. Well, here's the real reason why. Because my snag mag is on this side. This is, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but I know we're off, but it's my spare magazine. Instead of wearing a carrier, this contraption has a little fin so that it stays deep in my pocket so that I can, without looking like I'm having a big old mag pouch on my side. So that's why.
Somebody grabs your right hand, then you can't.
I'll hit them with my left. I'll headbutt them, I'll spit in their face, I'll kick them in the, you know. But however, that's a good question because my knife isn't out the front knife, so it's easier to deploy one-handed. I do have a knife that I carry offside too, just when I'm not carrying this specific mag loadout. My loadout changes depending on what I'm doing. I know some people say don't do that, but there's an equal amount of people who have much bigger names than me in this industry who change their loadout depending on their situations.
Any commentary on capacity in the magazines that you carry?
Well, there should be, right? Because when I'm in Cook County, I better be down to 10, right?
Well, it all depends.
Or if I'm in the city,
It all
yeah.
depends who you talk to and what the interpretation of the law is.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's where it gets goofy too, right? Because I live way out in Kendall County. In fact, I think out there I might be penalized if I only carry 10. All right, I'm going to show you guys a quick video. If you've seen this video, please don't give your neighbors the answer to this video, all right? Just act like you've never seen it before, but this is a pretty good one. Oh, unless it doesn't work. Let's try that again.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make? The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Watch it again. Crazy, right? Exactly. Not only that, but they put a preconceived notion in your head real quick. Hey, how many times does the team in white pass the ball? So of course, and I'll admit, the first time I saw it, I counted too. I'm like, yeah. And he said 13. Yeah, I got it. I'm observant. And I missed Moonwalking Bear though, so I wasn't too impressed. All right, I put crime plot statistics up here. I know it says 2016. If you know anything about crime statistics, they're usually about 2 years behind. because it takes a while to compile them. They want to make sure that they're as accurate as they can get. But I will say that they're worse than the 2014, which was the one I had up there before. But a violent crime occurs every 25.3 seconds. Wow. Think about the time we've been together, how many violent crimes if one happened every 25.3 seconds. A murder every 30 minutes. So in the time we've been together, about a murder and a half has happened in this country right now. A rape every 4 minutes. Robbery every 1.6 minutes. Could have been your house, right? With that story you were telling me. Aggravated assault every 39.4 seconds. And then property crimes, kind of sobering. I know there's a ton of people, but I don't know, that's pretty frequent. I don't want to be one of those statistics, right? Yeah, but keep in mind.
No, I mean, it looks low. I think there's more of it than that.
Well, I think it all depends on where you live, right? Because like if you look at South Dakota, they don't even have 1 million people in that whole state. You get around here, we got a whole bunch of people packed on top of each other. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Keep in mind that's only reported crime too. They kill someone and never find the person. Maybe it doesn't get reported. All right. So what I like to do, and we won't spend too long on this because I know I'm up against time, but I also like to talk about who are we looking for right now. Little caveat here. Let's take a step back. Your mass shooters are tough to deal with, right? However, what do we know from the last couple? What about this guy Parkland, Cruz, right? Boy, oh boy, did somebody mess up bad on that? Did a lot of people mess up bad on that? Kids post on social media that he's going to do a school shooting. Kid was troubled, he was kicked out of school. All kinds of problems. How come? I mean, somebody should have picked up on it. My point is, remember we were talking about profiling? Anybody go to school with the kid, we're like, man, that dude's going to murder someone someday. Right? I think we all had at least one kid like that. Pay attention to that, or at least you're like, man, that dude's going to be in jail someday. I know a couple of the kids who used to bully me back in the day said, man, they're going to be in jail someday, and guess what? They were. So you can tell, but with the exception of those events, most of us, what we have to worry about most often, like Rogers Park, right? What we have to worry about most often is just getting attacked by a predator, a human predator, a single person, right? Usually not a mass shooting. So let's review our daily activities. Where do you guys think you're vulnerable? We already said at home. Where else?
Anywhere.
Pretty much anywhere you let your guard down, right? Are we vulnerable in here? I'll tell you what, if someone came in that door right now and started shooting, you know, ducks in a barrel right now. Don't get me wrong, I know there'd be a lot of return fire. I'm all right with that, but,
You'll face the door.
oh, and just because I brought it up earlier, for those of you who haven't picked up on its appendix, it's a good sized gun too. It's not a compact. So I put this up here with the picture of that gentleman on purpose. So what does a criminal look like? Common characteristics. You can read those if you want. Because it's selfish, no conscience, no remorse. Use victims as objects is a huge one. They have no regard for you. They don't view you as a person. If they want something from you, you are just in the way between them and what they want, and that's it. Might as well be, I want to go this way, I got to move this chair. It's about the regard they're going to have for you, your family, your loved ones. They view niceness as weakness. They can blend in. They're always looking for whatever criminal activity they're engaged in, they're always looking. That's where you get like those guys. They probably didn't case you out. They just saw you leaving for synagogue and said, all right, hey, let's. Exactly. And then low self-esteem. That's why sometimes you get really violent, really worked up, because they're projecting. But they can also be confident. Oh, wait a minute, Kev, you're contradicting yourself, right? Loner. My point is this. Can anybody truly tell a sicko by looking at them? Usually not. Usually the people who are really sick, they function in our society, you know, and you would never guess it. How many times do we hear that, right? They're such a nice person, they were a good neighbor, they were this, they were that. My point is, it could be anybody. So what am I saying? Don't trust anybody. Does that sound extreme? Yeah. But guess what? I'd rather not trust anybody and be safe than trust someone and not be safe, right? It's just how it is. You gotta earn my trust. Go over this real quick, and then I'll probably jump ahead a bunch and we'll wrap up since we're coming up on time. Remember I told you I borrowed from some people. I borrowed this term from Steve Tarani, right? The predator's optic, which is how does a human predator look at you? What do they look for? They look for easy prey, right? They look for if you're distracted, alone. That gentleman who got killed on the Loyola Park path by the Rogers Park murder was alone. It was 10:20 at night, right? Alone on a dark path, away from people. Bad news. Should have taken it a different way. Look sheepish. You know, you get someone, and usually it's teenagers, right? Anybody see the teenager who walks like this? Looks like the world already beat them because they didn't get the new iPhone. All you gotta do is push them over. I wish I had those problems. Anyway,
If you watch the those movies, the animal movies, what
Mhm.
predators get.
yeah, the weak ones, yep. Lost? If you're looking around, you don't know where you're going, they'll get you because they know that you have no idea where you're at. Which means that you don't belong in that neighborhood, which means that people probably won't miss you immediately. Looking down, like I said, and unaware of your surroundings. Cues of vulnerability, they look for how you're walking. Are you walking with purpose? I always say walk with purpose like this, right? Why do I say that? Because if I'm walking like that and someone wants to come up behind me, they have to pretty much jog to get me. And if you see someone jogging down the street, anytime you've seen someone jogging, I can almost guarantee that you at least for a second look at them because they're moving faster than everybody else. It's cute, right? It helps you out. If you're walking like this, oh man, you can catch someone like that. Gender, ladies, I'm sorry. Sickos, they're sissies, right? They do not want to fight. They want what they consider to be easy prey. So I'm huge on women learning how to defend themselves. Let them make that mistake, and I give them hell.
There was a recent study I saw that walk determined attacks more than gender.
Absolutely it does, because if you walk with confidence, there's the assumption that you know something,
Right.
or that you're carrying
If a
or
woman walks
something.
confidently, and a man's walking less confidently.
The man will get attacked more frequently. Yeah, absolutely. When I was in the Army, everybody used to tell me, man, Kev, you're so nice, say hi to everybody. I'm like, that ain't nice. That's survival, man. You look someone in the eye, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You make eye contact, well, if that's a criminal, I can identify him now if I saw him, right? If I look him right in the eye. And I acknowledge their presence. We were talking about greeters, right? Best thing that any house of worship greeter can do is to shake hands, look someone right in the eye and say, hey, welcome. Because if someone's there, now they know they can be identified by someone. Body type. You know, you see the thing on social media that it says, you know, that if you're carrying extra weight, it's harder for a kidnapper to steal you. All right, it's kind of funny, but the point is that
That's why we have pizza and fries here.
yeah, right,
There you
right. If people in better shape, they're gonna, you know, if somebody looks fit and strong, they're gonna probably look for someone else. If you look like you can put up a fight, most of these common criminal predators, they're gonna want nothing to do with you. And then they look for what they consider soft targets. Someone looking down, somebody walking slow, somebody who's unaware. And there's your soft target indicators. Weak, either physically, mentally, or otherwise. Why did elderly get preyed on so much? Perceived weakness, right? Unaware, distracted, and alone. Almost any time you hear about a murder from, you know, it's very seldom is in mass, unless it's a school shooting nowadays, right? Back when a lot of us were younger, once in a while you get some weird mass shooting like a family or something. But for the most part, it's single events. All right, I'm going to cover this and I go to the end because this is important. So there's three main ways that criminal predators will attack you, right? It's ruse, surprise, and blitz. Anybody want to guess what that situational awareness test one was? It's a little bit of a ruse, right? Told you to look at one thing, hey, look over here, smack you with this one. That's kind of what it was, right? So we'll talk about a couple of those. Ruse, it's a trick to gain access to victims. Anybody hear about the fake car accident? They tap you in the bumper, you get out, someone hops in your car and drives off, or they attack you. How about medical attention? Anybody see, oh, hey, my baby, you get to the baby, it's a car seat with a doll in it. They'll ask for help, ask for directions, that's a good one. Hey, can you help me, I'm lost. Ask for a
need
ride.
lights, or what time is it, or need a light.
Anything, yeah.
On the
Yeah.
subway, I saw my foot stuck.
Oh, did you really?
Everyone went in, I grabbed the guy who was his partner was pickpocketing.
Was it real? See?
Got my friends.
There's a good one. Yeah, there's a ruse. That's another.
I saw it coming from a mile away.
Hang on with this guy, man. He's got his stuff together. This dude is aware, you know. It's man, we'll switch next time, all right? I'll sit over there and no, but that's good stuff. Asked to use the phone. The young lady that I know who got attacked, that's what happened. The guy asked to use her phone. She said no, close the door, and kicked the door in, and it was on. They pose as someone else. You hear about people dressing up as police officers, right? And then I put hard to recognize, easy to defend. What I mean by that is it's hard to recognize that somebody's pulling one on you, but once you figure out their trick, well then it's real easy what you do. Once you figure it out, you look for his buddy, you found him right away.
And we exchanged some fisticuffs. It was too many people. I couldn't get them out.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
got pulled
gotcha.
on the train. Thank God.
All right, so yeah, hard to recognize, easy to defend. The reason it's easy to defend is a lot of times these people don't want to fight. Most of the time, these people just want what they want and they don't want to fight. This is the one that I don't like, blitz, also known as ambush, right? It's an immediate physical attack, no warning. Knockout game is one of those, right? It's a good example. They use shock or vicious attack to control the victim. Easy to recognize, hard to defend. I'm a long-time martial artist, like I said. I've been in a couple scrapes myself. Actually, never since I learned martial arts. It's always before. But boy, oh boy, you find out what a person's made out of once they get punched in the mouth. I mean, there's some people that just say, all right, let's go. And there's other people who, that's it, they're not fighting anymore. So these people are counting on the fact that, remember what we talked about, the predator's eye? They want to go with someone that if you're walking like this, and you look like the world beat you already, what's going to happen if I hit you and take your money? You're going to crumble and cry and beg for mercy, probably. Easy to recognize, just got punched in the mouth, right? And I put it hard to defend. It's hard to defend because it's on. Where's your time to prepare on this if you're not situationally prepared? Speaking of that, one thing I forgot to tell you guys earlier, the closer someone is to you, boy oh boy, that much more you need to pay attention to them, right? Because other than firearms, from Heimnai right now, I could throw all this fancy stuff that I got in my repertoire, right? And I'm just gonna look like I'm dancing. Or look goofy and maybe everybody's gonna say, man, there's something wrong with it, can stay away. But from here, I better be very aware of my actions, right? Because this is what we call contact distance. Then finally we have surprise. I couldn't think of a natural predator to use a surprise because this is more of a higher thinking one. So utilize stealth to capitalize on circumstances, location. They can use threats. This is like you see in the movies where they put a candy bar in their pocket and say, give me your money. I know it sounds funny, but they may present a weapon. No injurious force, meaning they're basically going to stick you up, take your stuff, and take off, usually. Hard to recognize and somewhat defendable, depending on what level you're willing to take it to. I always say that if you don't think anybody's going to hurt you and want your wallet, give it to them. They want your watch, give it to them. You know, if you do engage, your goal should be escape. This isn't a martial arts movie. You don't want to sit there and win the fight and then have a parade thrown for you because you're the best warrior there is. No, you want to. I always say when I teach actual physical self-defense, just throw enough to get away, to turn around and run. Alright, so give me a second here. Alright. We're almost done. I'll let you guys get to shooting. Alright, things to remember, like I said. Best way to survive a violent encounter is to avoid one altogether. Escape is a goal, I just said that. Engage only enough to escape. Sometimes no matter what we do, through situational awareness, trouble finds us anyway, right? So that's why it's important to be trained. That's why what you guys do here is important. Remember, when all else fails, attack. Use defensive tools, force multipliers such as pepper spray, collapsible batons, tasers, knives, and personal alarms, as is allowed by your local jurisdiction, of course. If you're attacked, yell fire instead of help. Anyone ever hear that?
Yeah.
You know, people are funny like that. You say help, and everybody's like, man, I sure hope somebody helps that person. You yell fire, and everybody thinks they're going to be in the news. Like, man, I'm going to pull that baby out of that fire. I'm going to be a hero. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's a thing. And remember, if you do physically engage, be first, be fast, be merciless. Whole bunch of Cooper quotes here. The one who anticipates the action wins. The one who does not loses. It's really pretty much that simple, folks. Being taken by surprise greatly diminishes one's ability to defend themselves. Like I said, as soon as you get attacked, you're on the defensive. You have to find a way to regain control from your attacker. Anything out of place can be a warning. Don't get preoccupied. We said that earlier. Anything out of place, right?
Yeah.
There it is. I really like this one here. Anyone's whose activity seems to be geared to yours must be explained. If you're walking down the street and you think something doesn't seem right, you know, there's a guy behind you, you don't think it's right, you know, you do the old trick where you act like you're looking in the store window, but you're trying to get him in a reflection, and you go into the store, you hang out for 15 minutes, you get a cup of coffee or whatever, you come out, they're still there, you start walking, they start walking again. Normal people don't do that. There's something weird. The guy standing around by your house. You you picked up on that. To ponder is to perish. Don't overthink, folks. You know, when you're being attacked, it's boy, oh boy, you can try and think all the outcomes you want. That's not going to be good for you. You have to act. The specific course you decide upon is, within certain parameters, less important than the vigor with which you execute it. Another thing I teach in my self-defense classes, I don't get hung up on techniques, because I could teach a person some really great technique, and maybe a week later they only half remember it. 2 weeks after that they don't remember it, and then they get attacked. Like, no, what's that technique? No, I basically teach them what their human weapons are, where to put them, and apply generously. That's just it, and that's the vigor with which you execute it. And then your response if attacked must not be fear, it must be anger. Because remember, anybody who attacks you, they're not just attacking you, they're attacking your family. There's a family behind you. I have a very physical job. If someone attacks me and I'm physically disabled from that attack, that was my livelihood for my whole family, right? Think that's going to impact them? You better believe it. Final thoughts. We must grant our attacker, Colonel Cooper again, the vast advantage of striking the first blow, but thereafter we may return the attention with what should be overwhelming violence. Right? If they don't care about you, guess what, folks? Well, you better show them that maybe they better next time, right? If it's ever your misfortune to be attacked, alertness, situational awareness, will give you a little warning. Decisiveness will give you a proper course to pursue. If that course is to counterattack, carry out with everything you got. Any questions?
I'd just like to comment that the bullying is real, and for those who have the greeter system, you should work on a buddy system. We had an unwanted,
Absolutely.
We had an unwanted visitor a couple of months ago, and I said to my cohort, I greet everyone at the door. I said, "Where are you from, Dubuque?" And the guy looked Middle Eastern. He was wearing a long coat down to his knees. I said to my co-congressman, "Check him out." He gets 2 IDs, and I said, "You want to take your coat off?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, Henry, let's keep our eye on this guy."
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, "Henry, get the kids out of here," because we didn't know what the guy had. And unfortunately, we had another dumbass in the congregation. After the kids go, he's right in my sight line. I said, "Would you please tell the school to move? Heaven forbid, I don't want any collateral damage." Of course, the guy had strange tics in his face, his hands, didn't know anything about the service, wrong page. And then he comes up and he says, "You seem to be a little concerned with my presence." I said, "Yeah, would you please step out?" I then showed him my weapon. I pulled it, did not point it at him, pointed to the floor. I said, "Henry, frisk him." He said, "Not take a goddamn coat off."
Because he refuses. Someone's out of the ordinary, right?
So don't think when you talk about it that the threat, it's real. And it's
But be
here.
careful with that, because here in Illinois we don't have citizens arrest.
He wasn't arrested.
I know, could be brandishing. So just be careful with that. I don't want you to get in legal trouble. I may have my own personal opinions on that, but the law's the law, man. The law's pretty clear on that.
Guys, I'm sorry we're running out of time. Kevin's gonna talk a couple minutes about RSO upcoming class. We're gonna pass around the kitty, you already paid it, we'll pass around the kitty $10, appreciate it. And then we're passing around tickets too. So
Yeah.
Kevin's gonna, while we do that, Kevin's gonna talk about RSO.
So the range safety officer class, it's an NRA certified class.
Guys,
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I'm not collecting that.
Who's collecting?
Don't trust me.
Oh, another 10